So you see, Project Pepto, my 1988 Acura Integra, before I bought it, it actually sat for a while. That meant a bunch of the systems broke down. The fuel broke down, the brake fluid broke down, so I had to go through and flush out the entire fuel system, new injectors, new fuel rail, new pressure regulator, all that stuff was taken care of. Then after I got it on the road, the front calipers locked up on me. I wasn't going too fast or anything, but that just happened, and the rear started doing that as well. I tried pulling them apart, greasing everything up, and that just didn't fix anything. So now I think it's time to just go ahead and replace the calipers, because I got a show coming up that I want to take the car to, about a 4-hour trip down south. And also the LS swapped 1988 Honda Accord, we're gonna have some progress on that as well. I got some parts on the way that I'll show you in a little while. This is gonna be a good one. I think they're all good ones. I think I've said that before, but nothing's changed.
And now, you're watching the change of emotions that happens when you look down at your full tank of gas and realize it's the temperature gauge channel of YouTube. Welcome to Bodie Vision.
Hey, so what is up and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me on yet another video. So like I mentioned, we're just going to give a little bit of love to Project Pepto. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this project, I picked this up at the beginning of 2019. My intentions were to get it going. It's got a boosted V20 in it right now. I have a built LS as a 1.8 Acura Integra motor, not a LS as far as a V8. Anyways, Honda stuff. So the plan was to do all that, but I actually got it running, got it going. I've just been enjoying that. We're going to eventually paint the entire thing. I was planning on doing that next, but then I had the idea of doing the LS swap 1988 Honda Accord, and I felt like that's so much more crazy content for you guys to watch and enjoy, and we will get to this eventually. So what we have back here, my cantilever suspension setup, rear seat delete, and if you look right here, I don't actually have coilovers. All I have is this rod right here. As that rod goes up, it pushes on the coilover around this here, compresses there, and then that's just a triangle. This is a 1-to-1 ratio, so this spring rate is based on how much the car weighs, and everything drives normal. The car drives exactly like it should. After we get the brakes replaced, I'll actually go ahead and drive the car around, and you can go ahead and see that if you have not seen that already. And then like I said, this rear seat, what the heck? Where did this come from? Oh well. Now some time has passed, and since I work by myself, I've kind of came up with some methods to help me do jobs that require more than one person, but doing them by yourself. And what I did right here, I obviously had to bleed the brakes when I was done, so what I got set up is I got a water bottle here, hole in the cap, line right there going into the bleeder, wrench sitting right here, and I had my phone set up recording right here. So as this is all here, I open this, I'm pumping the brake inside of the car, and I make sure that I don't go more than, it's about 10 pumps that I was checking. So 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 10. Then I filled up the reservoir, came back here, checked, and I saw a couple of bubbles still coming out here on my video that I had set on my phone right here. And then I did it again, kept pumping until I saw that there was no more bubbles coming out, closed it off. And if you can see right here, this line is actually full of liquid. So when I take it off, all that liquid went down. Now it's empty, and that's how I bleed brakes by myself. Now I've done this before. I might have to go through it if the brake feels a little bit squishy. I might have little air bubbles in there. I'll wait till I have somebody to help me. But for overall, We'll see if I crash. Hopefully I don't die. And also, I wanted to mention, I know I was saying I was going to repaint the entire car in the near future. That's why all these bars are just in primer, because they're going to get painted and they're somehow going to coordinate with the exterior color. The color that I have no idea what it's going to be. Alrighty, so we are cruising right along. Everything feels good. I was thinking about taking the car out just to make sure first, because I'm actually on my way home now, and if it didn't work, I'd have to turn around. But if I went to go test it out, then I'd have to go back to the shop. So I figured, let's just risk it, see if it works. Let's get a little shut it down, baby. Ooh, we are good to go. All right. Let's see what tomorrow brings now. So it is the next day now. Now let me just fill you in on what happened yesterday after I stopped filming. So I went ahead and I got to Advance Auto. AutoZone, just an auto parts store. And then I realized the car wasn't moving very easily. Like when I went from reverse to forward, I felt like the car, you know, it usually goes back and then it seems like a little bit of a fluid change. It just kind of stopped in between without me hitting the brakes. So I felt like the brakes were still getting stuck. Now it was the end of the day and I wanted to just bring the car back. Now what I've done since I got here today is I actually took them all apart. I re-greased everything with that specific synthetic brake grease packet stuff. I took out the little slide clips. I put a whole bunch of grease on them. I cleaned the little clips that are on there, the little things that the actual brake pads slide on. Sorry, I'm not getting technical with terms. And then everything was fine. I changed the oil. Well, I thought everything was fine. I just took the car out for a drive and I smelt the fronts really bad. If you can see, the fronts are stuck again, both fronts. Now I'm starting to believe it's gotta be something else. So actually it is the next day again. I just wanted to cut off that last clip and bring you up to speed because I did find out what it is. What looks disgusting. It's gotta be this, because that does not look good. That is dirty, nasty, disgusting. The master cylinder. So I wanted to get this car ready to leave Saturday morning, and here it is, Friday midday. Nobody in town has that master cylinder. I think I could use a Civic one, and I got a friend that's gonna let me buy one off of him, or we're gonna trade for some stuff. So either way, this car, I'm not gonna have enough time to test it to get it out there because I don't really have many miles on this car, and for me to take it a 4-hour trip without testing it at all is just not smart. So we might take out my brother's car, Josh a cop with a swap, but we'll just let Pepto sit for now. Now I got these plates made. I am super excited about these. Let me show you what I made by hand versus what we got professionally made. So this is my custom BC coilovers that they assembled for me out there, and this is going to be going into the car. So I wanted to make some kind of a plate for this to bolt up to. So what I attempted to do was to make one on my own, and this like that. And this piece, I tried to make it look good. I tried to make it thick, but it just does not look good at all. That's horrible. So what I had made was we designed this, got it cut out on the plasma table, and this is super professional, really nice, just like that. There's plenty of room for everything. This looks like it was custom made for a custom set, which it is custom made, and it is a custom set. So this piece right here is gonna eventually sit in the car like this, and then all of this red is gonna be gone, and this is just gonna sit perfectly on there. Then I'm gonna weld it in, reinforce it, make sure everything's good. And now I know this video has been a lot of talking thus far. We're about to switch up the pace because I had some figuring out to do, so I had to relay you those messages and let you know what was going on. We're just gonna start working on the Accord because that's what I want to get finished. Whew, man, it got a little bit hot. So from the last video, here we go. So anyways, from the last video, barely knowing what I was gonna do, I had these plates that looked horrible. I did not like them at all, so I just ditched those. I called somebody that I had worked with before. I worked with him on the cantilever suspension stuff for Project Pepto that we were working on just a little bit ago. The triangles in the back, he actually cut those out for me. He cut out these pieces, and dude, these look so good. So this red section, that's actually from the GTO. These tubs that got a little bit of surface rust on them, those are tubs from Tractor Supply for a trailer. Then it did all the dimple dies in there and everything. So that's that one. That's this one, welded it in super nicely. Now if you just take off these 3 bolts, the coilover will drop. You have all the adjustability that you need up here, because all that looks so nice. Everything looks good. Now I'm gonna have to build out this, build everything back up, because right now at this point I just wanted everything to work. So I wanted to see where it's gonna be. It's gonna be there perfectly fine. And also before we started, I took a whole bunch of measurements from there, took a whole bunch of measurements from there, and every single thing is good. Also, as we placed in these red pieces, we made them even from one side to another, so that helped out a whole bunch. And also, if you can see right here, everything looks good. This rotates freely. We have good distance between the actual coilover and the inner edge of the rim, so that looks good. The wheel's gonna be able to turn just fine. It's actually hitting the jack right now though, just because I don't have the nut in for the ball joint back there, but it looks really good. Everything's working just like it should. So yeah, this definitely was a huge moment for the car to have all of the suspension on, front suspension, rear suspension, and the last video, we got that all set on this side. I just have it sitting there, but you can see that it's gonna work just fine. Everything's perfect. I could not be more happy with where we are. Now today, as this video goes live, this is a Saturday. Tomorrow morning I'm going to be at the Acura Honda Classic meet down in Pembroke Pines over in Miami. So if you're over there, make sure you come say what's up, and if you're not going to be there, I will see you on the next one. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like this video, comment, subscribe, do all the stuff. You know what it is, YouTube. I will see you on the next one or tomorrow. I'm out.